Hey y'all, you can tell probably pretty easily what I'm making tonight. I've got a meatloaf coming together in one of my very favorite fun bowls, my Farm Fresh bowl here. So I've got my ground beef, my onions and green pepper, got some garlic powder, and then I'm trying this Cavender's for the first time. Let me show you that. Got this Cavender's Greek seasoning, so I've got some of that in there. And then I'm getting ready to add, I think my egg, I already have that in there. Yes, I do. And then I'm getting ready to add whatever else, probably my ketchup. I don't ever make meatloaf the same way. Basically the same way, but I don't measure out or anything like that. Oh, I also have my breadcrumbs in there. And so I'm getting ready to pull the rest of that together and get in the oven. I have leftover fresh garden green beans and cabbage that I am making this meatloaf to go along with. Now, I went ahead and split my ground beef into two portions here. I had a 3.5 pound package, and so I am doing the Pioneer Woman Sloppy Joe. So I just went ahead and put the ground beef in the bottom, and I put my diced onions, green pepper, garlic, salt, I think that was it. Just went ahead and put that in this bowl. I'm going to put that in the fridge, and I'll just fry these ingredients up together and drain, and then I'll add all the rest of the ingredients and make my Pioneer Woman Sloppy Joes for tomorrow night. So I kind of have two for the price of one going on right now. That works out well for busy days in the kitchen. Just go ahead and do everything that you can. So that is what we got going on. All right, and I just wanted to add in one thing. As you can see, I've got the ketchup in there now. I have mixed my whole meatloaf mixture with my handy dandy twist and chop. I love this thing, and I've never used it for meatloaf before, so I have not had to get my hands in there or use any other kind of method. I've used this twist and chop for the whole thing. So if you've got one of these, use it for your meatloaf the next time. And if you don't have one, get one. This one's from Pampered Chef, but you can get them anywhere, Walmart. Well, maybe not anywhere, but a lot of places have them. They are very handy. All right, the meatloaf is ready to go in the oven. I don't always make it into a loaf shape. I never bake it in a loaf pan. I usually just bake it in some sort of 9 by 13 or a dish about that size. This one is a smaller one. This is probably about a 9 by 9. And so that one is just the one I grabbed out today. So I'm going to put the meatloaf in the oven, and when it has some of the fat that's cooking off of it, I'll get that out maybe once or twice and drain that off. And then I will put on whatever sauce I'm going to put on top. And that's either traditional ketchup, or sometimes I do a ketchup brown sugar mixture for more of a sweet sauce. And then sometimes I'll do some chunky tomatoes with the brown sugar mixture as well. And so we like it all three of those ways. So it usually just depends on whatever mood I'm in. So that's yet to be determined. Okay, I'm going to show you these real quick. I don't know if everyone is familiar with this. Maybe you are, but these are peas that we grew in our garden. And you string these just like you do a green bean. And then the way I like to prepare them is how my mom always fixed them when I was growing up. So basically you just string them and wash them real good, of course, and then I just boil them in maybe some water with a little bit of salt. And then after they're boiled down and they're tender, I put just a little bit of bacon grease, tiny bit, doesn't take much, a little bit of garlic, salt, a little bit of pepper, and I kind of fry them off at the very end. They are so good. They're sweet. They are just delicious. So we're having some garden peas, some garden green beans. Those were heated up from yesterday. This is a big kettle of cabbage cooking. All right, here is a yummy plate of garden goodness. We've got some cooked cabbage, green beans, and peas, and tomatoes, all from our garden. And then I've got a slice of onion and just a little portion of a Hungarian pickled pepper. There's some Yukon Gold mashed potatoes and a piece of meatloaf. So that's what's for dinner tonight. A lot of garden eating right now. Alright, for this evening's meal, I have cut a big head of cabbage in half, and I'm going to remove the center core. Once you get that taken out of a cabbage, it is all usable from there. The core, of course, just needs to be taken out and discarded. So if you slice your cabbage in half, remove the core, then you're good to go. This is a huge head of cabbage. We had 3 small heads that we got out of our garden. This great big one came from my son Gunner's garden. And so I am going to cut that up pretty thin with my knife, and I am making egg roll in a bowl tonight. We love this. We haven't had it in a good while. It's a great way to use up cabbage. So I'm going to get my cabbage all sliced up here. Next I have my 1-pound roll of pork sausage cooking away. I'm going to drain that off here shortly. And for my other ingredients, I need some garlic, I need some carrots, those are also from our garden, some onion, and in the back there is just a little portion of banana pepper. I then add in my ginger and soy sauce, and in with the cabbage. Make sure you use a really deep kettle when you're starting this out. It definitely cooks down, but it's a lot in the beginning before it does. So just give yourself a deep enough kettle that you can stir it together. And here's what it looks like after it has cooked down. This is basically a meal in and of itself. So good. But this night I am adding some additional things with it. I am frying up some onion here and some vegetable oil. I'm getting ready to make fried rice. So earlier in the day, I cooked my rice in my rice cooker, let it get cold in the refrigerator, and then I'm just going to follow the directions on the back of this fried rice seasoning mix. I've also marinated some chicken tenders in a little bit of seasoning and some Italian dressing. Got some green peppers and onions also in there. And again, just following the directions on the back. Now I am putting my eggs in the middle. I kind of make a little well, scramble the eggs until they're pretty much done, and then you can stir those back in. The frozen bag of peas and carrots is absolutely perfect to stir in here right towards the end of your rice. It's a perfect finish. And then for my chicken that I had marinating, I just sauteed that up with some fresh zucchini and some Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and sour sauce. So here's a look at our meal. Egg roll in a bowl, sauteed chicken and zucchini, fried rice, and some cantaloupe, and that was out of our garden as well. All right, you guys, how's this? Look at this beautiful cantaloupe that came right out of our garden. And funny thing, we didn't think we planted cantaloupe. When this first started growing, we're like, oh, the watermelons. And then we were like, it's not a watermelon, I think it's an heirloom pumpkin, because we had those seeds as well. And then it started getting the nice little skin that a cantaloupe has. And James is like, we have cantaloupes. So I think there's about 6 of them. He picked 2 today. And so it smells wonderful. It appears to be perfectly ripe. I can't believe it. So cantaloupe when we didn't even know we planted it. How about that? All right, and to wind up this video, I'm going to show you a really perfect summer dessert. It is very easy to put together, quick to put together, and it is a crowd favorite. You can also make it ahead. So you need a disposable pan. I think this is the lasagna size pan. 2 boxes of ice cream sandwiches. You will not use the complete 2 boxes. You need whipped topping, Hershey's hot fudge, or any kind of hot fudge, and you need some peanuts. So to get started in putting this together, really the longest task is unwrapping your ice cream sandwiches. So you want to unwrap those and lay them like this in the bottom of your pan. So you're going to have 8 on the bottom. And as I said, just unwrapping them takes longer than anything in this whole dessert. I am using the Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches. This is the first time I've ever used those. Any kind of ice cream sandwich will do as long as it is this shape. So I have my 8 on the bottom. Now I'm going to add on my Hershey's hot fudge. This is right out of the jar. You don't have to heat it up as long as it's not cold from your refrigerators. So it's best to just use it right out of the jar, and you will need the whole jar. So you're going to spoon that over top and just spread it throughout. Now you come in with the whipped topping. So you're going to use, I have a large tub. I think it's a 16 ounce. So I like to buy the 16 ounce. That way I have plenty of it to use, however much I need. So I'm going to use, a couple big dollops. That goes directly on top of the fudge, and you just smooth that over. And you are only using a half a jar of the fudge because you're going to use the rest of it in just a second. So smooth out your whipped topping. And now come the peanuts. So you have your ice cream sandwiches, your hot fudge, you have your whipped topping, and then a layer of peanuts. And just put as many as you like. Totally preference here. Once your peanuts are put all over the top, you're going to start again with the second layer, repeating everything that you just did. So now to get started on unwrapping the ice cream sandwiches. And there you have it, ice cream sandwich dessert. The first time I made this was about 20 years ago, 18 to 20 years ago, I think, for our twin son's birthday. And I took it to school, and it was a big hit. I've been making it ever since. I think it came from a Taste of Home magazine, if I'm not mistaken. So tonight I made it for a birthday. We had another birthday, our son Riley, his wife Hope. Today was her birthday, and so I thought this would be a very fun cake to have tonight. So we had a good time. Woo-hoo!